Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Timo Parker. I'm a vocal coach and I'm here to help you improve your singing voice. Today I want to explain to you how you can sing more clearly and less nasal,
so you hopefully don't sound like this while you sing.
There's one specific part I'm going to refer to, which is the velum inside of your mouth. I'm going to put it in a graphic on the side so you know what I'm talking about. And also I think it would be really helpful if you watch my previous video where I talk about singing with a high tongue or which tongue position you have while you sing, because a lot of things are pretty much connected to what we covered today. I mean, at the end, everything is connected, but especially those two topics are really related in a way. So make sure to watch the previous video and then let's dive into today's topic, the velum. Hey guys, Timo here from the future. I realized while I was editing that I made a mistake. It's a small technicality, but the velum and the soft palate are the same thing. It's just different names. What I wanted to refer to was the fleshy extension that is attached to the soft palate, which is called uvula. Just for you to know, let's go back to the present. This is going to be pretty straightforward. So the velum sits inside of our mouth and we have two parts in our upper jaw, which is the hard palate and the soft palate. As the names already suggest, the hard palate is made out of hard tissue. In other words, actually we have a bone under the flesh, and the soft palate is soft tissue and muscles that we can actually move. Alrighty, let's take a quick look at the velum. For this, I actually need an external light source just for you to be able to see it. No worries, I brushed my teeth beforehand, so it should look all clean in there. If not, I apologize, I did the best I could. So when I come closer to the camera now and show you the velum, you will see this is this hanging thing in the back of our throat, and I can actually move it. So let's see if we can see that on camera. I hope it's visible. So you could see that I was able to move the velum, and this actually has a huge effect on our speaking voice and also on our singing voice, and this is what I want to get into now. So in general, if our soft palate and the velum are hanging, we get more air through the nose. We have air and also sounds traveling through our air pipe, and then there's a split happening where it could either go up towards our nose and out or directly out through our mouth. So that means that when we are singing and when we are speaking and the palate is hanging, a lot of sound is going to go into our nose. And we can check that very easily by just closing our nostrils,
for example with our fingers. And now when my velum is hanging, you will hear that I sound almost like I have a cold, or like you can hear that the sound is very nasal.
But what happens if I take the velum up? Aha!
Now I'm not so much in the nose anymore.
So now the sound travels less through my nose and more through my mouth. So how can we achieve such changes? So when we are speaking or singing and the velum is hanging and the soft palate is also hanging, a lot of air and a lot of sound travels through the nose, and especially if we close our nostrils, you will hear that a lot of sound gets kind of stuck here, and then we get a very nasal sound. And on the other hand, the higher the palate is, the less air or almost no air. So actually, if the soft palate is all the way up, we are closing off the room in our nose, and all the air and all the sound waves come actually through our mouth. And that is very beneficial for singing, because first of all, and this is what I was explaining in the previous video about the tongue, that we reflect the sound on the hard palate and we have no sound waves traveling through our nose. Because our nose is made of very soft material, that means it's very sound absorbing. Whereas if we reflect the sound on the hard palate, which is a bone with a bit of flesh in between, that's a very good material to reflect sound and get it out towards the audience. So by raising our soft palate, we gain a lot of clarity in our speaking voice and also in our singing voice. So the sound waves actually travel through your mouth and not through your nose. And the best way to get started and train your soft palate to go up is actually, again, through speaking. And there's one thing that you can do by counting 2, 3, and 4. And we try to adjust the position of the soft palate. There are many more positions because it's all like fluent transitions, but there are 3 main positions that are, in my opinion, very important for singing, which is we have a hanging velum. The second one is the velum slightly raises, and the third one, it's all the way up. It sounds like this.
Hanging, 2, 3, 4, halfway up, 2, 3, 4.
So now the vibration of the voice is mainly here between our eyebrows.
And before it was all the way in the front of our nose.
And the last one has no sound vibrations anymore in the nose or here. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So you can't really hear difference between closed nose and open nose because there's no sound and no air coming through it. And this is the optimal adjustment for singing because there are some other advantages that we gain with the high palate, which I will come to in a minute. So first thing, try to find these positions either through counting,
but you can also just try around and slip into characters because this is a good way to find the adjustment. So now my velum is hanging. Now when I put the velum a little bit more up, it's a bit like sounding a bit French. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And the third one is pretty much my normal speaking voice because I tend to have my palate up when I speak. Sometimes when you have some consonances, it could happen that the sound gets a little stuck in the nose, especially with M. Some consonances are very hard to produce with a closed nose. But luckily we don't have to have our nose closed while we sing. And I think the most important thing is that we especially have the velum up for the vowels to have like a bright open sound and gain a lot of clarity. So now I want to talk about further advantages by raising your palate, and that is that the intonation can change. So when I sing a note and my soft palate is hanging, a lot of sound and a lot of overtones get swallowed in the nose, which could give the impression that you're actually singing flat while you're actually on the note. So if you have the feeling that you're not really getting the note, like you hear it right and you're singing on the same note, but somehow it still sounds flat, it's most likely that your velum and your soft palate are hanging. Because again, the walls of your nose are soft, they absorb sound very well and they make the sound very dull, and that could give the impression that you are flat. Whenever this is the case, raise your soft palate and your velum to gain more clarity. And also because we are getting more overtones through the reflection on the hard palate and nothing comes through our nose, we actually amplify once again the overtones, which are the best friends of a singer. Before we come to the end of this video, I want to give you a little bonus exercise that you can do. So if you found your characters within speaking with a closed nose, the 3 adjustments, hanging, middle and high position, you can do the same thing singing a note. And maybe you use words like 2, 3 and 4 because they have no closing consonances, which is really helpful in the beginning. And you use a comfortable note and you try to sing and change the adjustments. Could sound like this. So first hanging, middle position and then high soft palate.
2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4.
So you can try doing this exercise on some notes, preferably on comfortable notes, so you have the freedom to play around. And if your hands get tired holding your nostrils closed, there's actually a little prop that we can use to do those exercises, but maybe even sing through a song with this prop. So let me get it. This is our prop. It is a nose clip and you can use it to close off your nose and try to speak or sing with a high soft palate. So one of my students was actually super clever and he just used a washing clamp, but they're very strong. So what he did is putting a rubber band on the side where you would open the thing. So it has less tension on your nose. So you could also do that, so you maybe don't even have to get a nose clip. A very good prop to sing through songs and also train speaking. Also, for some people it is easier to raise their soft palate if they actually also raise their eyebrows. So if you have trouble finding this adjustment, you can just try raising your eyebrows and maybe this will help you to raise your velum as well. So whenever you're lacking in clarity, or maybe you have intonation problems, make sure that the soft palate is up. This is the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I have more voice training content planned on this channel, so make sure to not miss out. And I see you guys in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.